Welcome to Behind the Crafter. I'm your host JD, and we have a guest who I play with on a server. He's a kid at heart, has been playing video games since the Atari came out with Pong and Tank. And when he finds a video game to play, he sticks with just that one for a long time. He spent 14 years in the military, mostly in Asia. He's a disabled vet, is married with 2 children, and spends his time with them or playing Minecraft. He likes movies, but he hates TV. I'd like to give a big welcome to Vegasvic1965. Hello, how are you doing?
Good, good. How about you, JD?
Doing pretty good. Glad it's Friday.
Yeah, just getting over a cold. My little one finally just passed out. He's been suffering with a head cold for about a week. Of course, I caught it.
Of course, kids always give you everything that they have.
Yeah.
I'm pretty good at. I'm well experienced with that. So actually, you and I play on the same server, and I believe I visited you quite recently, looking for some XP.
Yeah, you found something in the tunnel. I can't remember what it was. Something, a bee, I think it was.
Yes, I did. And for anyone listening, we both play on Adults Craft, and we're in Season 4 now. And we're on the Java server, but we're on completely opposite ends of the area that we're all building in. So it's a long journey down there. I've made it a few times, or a couple of times by boat at first. That's before I had Elytra.
What about the nether roof?
I didn't have access to it yet.
Oh.
Or I didn't give myself access to it. Of course, with both of us having admin permissions on the server, we could do it easily. But yeah, I just waited until I was ready to get myself connected to the Nether hub.
Right. Technically, I guess we could say we're in Season 5 because we had that Season 2.5.
Yeah. I didn't participate in that.
Okay.
I was still in Season 3. Wait, 2. Oh, it's 2, yes.
Yeah. Oh, we had Lena in 2.5. I think that's when she started, your sister.
Yeah. Well, she was in Season 2.
Oh, that's right. She was in the, I guess you could call it more modded Java server.
Yeah, it was. You and I have very similar channels. We both do tutorials and Let's Plays.
Right.
But the main difference is your Let's Plays are mainly SMPs, while mine are single player.
Right.
And I decided with SMPs, I'm going only streaming.
That's a good idea.
So I just wanted to keep them separate.
Right.
But
I don't even push my channel that much. I'm getting ready to retire, so I'm just slow walking everything. I mean, the channel's still done okay. There was some slowdowns, but yeah, I haven't done any shorts. I noticed you have a whole.
Oh,
you have 2 channels, I think.
Well, I don't really do any. I haven't done any shorts in a long time, and I don't see any benefit.
I don't either.
In terms of the type of content I do. The main reason is shorts and long form content get completely different audiences. There's very little crossover, as far as many people have noticed while shorts have been on YouTube. And so people who specialize in long form, they say, don't even bother with shorts. You won't see much benefit to it.
I don't see much benefit to doing a short either. I mean, how much advertising you're going to get with a short? And yes, it's quick to make, but I just didn't want. I mean, I try and keep my videos, especially my tutorials, like years ago, they were long-winded. And over the years, I've learned how to get out all the fluff and get straight to the point.
Same.
So I got to the point where saying, I don't care if YouTube wants me to make one for 8 minutes or 10 minutes so I can get that mid-roll.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to put the tutorial out and hope that people enjoy it, because I'm not counting on this to make money.
Yeah. Yeah, my tutorials are usually around 2 or 3 minutes.
Yeah, same.
Sometimes
That's what I try and do
longer.
too.
So it's I I don't see a lot. Like, I have some tutorials that are over 8 minutes, and they do have a mid-roll ad, but I don't see a huge difference in the amount of money.
Oh, I don't either. Yeah, I don't think that if anybody comes into the idea of making a YouTube channel to get rich, it's never going to happen. AdSense is just YouTube just really doesn't pay much. They keep most, I would imagine. I really don't know what the split is, so don't want to overstep my bounds. But I think the real money comes with sponsorship.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe you'll disagree or agree. I'm not sure which, but I really don't think that AdSense is the way to go if you're planning on want to get rich as a big YouTuber. And I have no intention of doing that. I just enjoy making those because it helps people. If they find something interesting in by the way I explain it, perfect. That's all I'm looking for.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, I noticed your oldest video,
Oh boy,
5 minutes
it was
long. Minecraft 1.14 pre-release Iron Golem Farm.
Right. I
So
played on a server that had what's the term? There's the server settings that they have, entity distance. God, I can't think it off the top of my head right now, but the way they have it set up, there's a lot of kids that play on this server. I got my son into that. We drop him off at this place called Kids Quest, where he'd play and interact with other children, since he was an only child at the time. And when we go to pick him up, I always found him playing this blocky game, and he said, "Oh, Minecraft! I just playing Minecraft." So eventually, for his birthday, we got him Minecraft. He liked it, wanted me to help him with something, and I didn't know what I was doing. I think I was playing World of Warcraft at the time, but that's how I got started into playing that. And that was a lot of fun. I just gave up World of Warcraft and stuck with Minecraft. I forgot the original question.
yeah. So, well, I don't think there was really much of a question there, but you're going in the right direction of what I want to talk about anyways. Like how you started with Minecraft. It was very similar with me, except we got Minecraft for Xbox One. So my daughter started playing it and then asked me to play with her. And
now I forgot. Now I remember the train of thought we were looking at was that original video that I had done.
Yeah.
Anyway, that server that I set him up with had a lot of things, and it was very safe. The kids on that server saw the builds and stuff that I was doing and said, "Why don't you do a YouTube channel and do videos on this or something?" So I initially started doing videos, and that's the first one I did. And the reason I made that was because the kids couldn't get their iron farms to work right. They couldn't get enough iron, and the way the server has it set up, they have a limit of so many entities, and within either an area, it's not a chunk but an area. So I made that video for them initially, and they said, "Oh, you should put it on YouTube." And I didn't even have a mic set up. It was right from the computer, so if you hear the sound, it's pretty bad.
Well, you have to start somewhere, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I started out my channel as an experiment. I just wanted to see.
If I'm not mistaken, you started about 3 or 4 months before me, about the same time. February, I think it was.
It was February, yeah.
Yeah,
5 years ago.
I think April. Yeah, April was mine.
Yeah, and it was an experiment to see if I could grow a channel in a saturated niche. And
you did well. You did very well.
And like there are a few things. Well, we'll get into this a bit later, but there are a few things that I wish I had done differently. But I could see myself even further along if I'd done things differently. And that's one of the reasons why I started my second channel, is to get rid of the fluff from my main channel. Because I was doing a large variety of other videos that really weren't giving a focus to my channel. So now I'm focusing on Let's Plays, tutorials, and the podcast, and that's it. I won't have any other kind of video. Any other video will go on the second channel. And that's more of a variety talking channel, but I also do snapshot videos and other things like that. So we'll see how that goes.
Now, what have you done to, I mean, you grew, I mean, really fast. For me, I'm kind of a, I don't know, I live under a rock pretty much. I did try Twitter for a little bit. And when I went over to X, I just, I don't want to do this anymore. So I don't even have any social media sites that I use to promote my content. I'm pretty sure you probably at least one or two different types of social media avenues that you use.
Yeah, I'm still using, I still call it Twitter. I can't call it X. I still call it Twitter. I don't really do much promotion on there these days. All of my promotion is the YouTube algorithm, and that's it. I will put, I have bots in my Discord that'll put my videos up there as well, but I get very little traffic outside of from outside of YouTube. So it's the way it usually goes with my videos is the first, like, let's take a tutorial for example. The first day it doesn't really get a lot of views, and then YouTube decides to push it out to more people, and it gets a few hundred views, and then it levels off. And then after about, it varies, usually around 6 weeks, then it starts to increase exponentially.
I see that too with my channel.
It's interesting.
There's a few. It is, yeah.
But with Let's Plays, I get the promotion within the first usually 48, 72 hours, and then it levels off, and it never reaches that exponential at the end, or at ever, really, unless it's something so specific that people are searching for and it ranks in search. Because I've got one of my Let's Plays where I've got it's my old Minecraft school series, and
I remember that. Yeah.
The video is about looking for another fortress, and that one's got, I think, around 11,000 views now. So it's that one did well, but it's kind of interesting seeing how they go. Like my second channel, I've been getting more views on those videos than they would have on my main channel. Mostly,
it could be possible that Google Trends may be hitting up or reaching some good numbers, and then they realize, okay, JD's got a video out on this subject. Let's push it. I don't know if YouTube algorithm works that way, but I really don't follow the trends. But I imagine eventually those trends are going to hit, and when people look for those trends, our videos are going to pop up.
Yeah, it's a lot about the audience. So those extra videos that I used to do on my main channel, they'd get pushed out to my subscribers, and my subscribers are mostly tutorial watchers, and they don't really care about that video. So YouTube thinks that those videos failed, so that they don't push them out anymore. But on my second channel, there's really no specific audience yet for my channel, because I have such a small number of subscribers there, and I've hardly advertised that channel even on my main channel. So I've maybe made a couple of mentions about it, but that's it. And so what's happening with those videos is they're being pushed out to a variety of people, and it's drawing people in. And I've been getting some success in growing the channel, but I've found that the most success is when I'm being a little controversial. Controversy brings in viewers, but I don't want to do that kind of channel.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to do that either.
Yeah. So, when you started your channel, were you watching any YouTube channels for Minecraft?
Not really. I mean, a lot of people watch this stuff, and I at the time didn't know that there was stuff on YouTube about all this.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't do anything with YouTube at all, as a matter of fact. It was the kids on that family friendly server that said, "Oh, you should do this. Oh, you should do
Hmm.
that." So I started figuring out how to make videos. And they said, "Oh, you should put it on YouTube. You should put this on YouTube." And I'm like, I don't know what is that. I mean, I don't even know. 'Cause I'm an old fart, and I didn't keep up with current technology. And I knew there was YouTube. I think I've probably seen things on YouTube, but nothing to do with Minecraft.
Mm-hmm.
And so I started looking up Minecraft. I said, wow, there's a whole bunch of stuff here on Minecraft. And then I figured out how to make the channel. This is probably like, what did it say? Maybe September through December of 2018.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, no, is that right? Yeah, 2018.
Yeah.
And then I started working on when 114 was going to hit. I started testing around with it and finding ways where if it was a limited area, then I figured the best bet would be to place the different areas where the villagers were at on different chunks. So I took 4 chunks and put the villagers in each chunk, but they all had an adjoining chunk line,
Mm-hmm.
and that produced a decent amount of iron. The kids loved it. Put it on YouTube. So I put it on YouTube, and that was my first video and first start. And then from there, I like figuring stuff out on my own.
Yeah.
And I'm not a redstoner by any means at all. I'm lucky if I can get a door to open. So I try and find ways that I can do things without redstone, which sometimes is even more of a challenge.
Mm-hmm.
So like my latest iron farm, it's a quad iron farm, and it's very similar to so many other quad iron farms, but I have what's called a zombie hamster wheel,
Oh.
and it makes use of the time between the zombie moving up and down a couple different stairs and going past the villagers. Instead of using a minecart, instead of using soul sand or any of those things, he just walks around, and when he comes out, there's trapdoors. He thinks he can walk over. We all know that, but he can't.
Mm-hmm.
He falls down 2 blocks, goes back around and back up again. And that iron farm produces a ton of iron, far more than I had when I used soul sand to have them pop up and down. So
That's an
that,
interesting way of doing it.
yeah. So I've done that. I've done even the zombie villagers. I wanted to find a way where I didn't have to do a bunch of tracks and then going here and going there. I wanted something simple that I could keep all the villagers in the same spot that I'm going to use.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think Lena actually improved that by using a lever with a piston, moving the glass block up and down out of the way. And I think that was in season 2.5, because
Mm-hmm.
originally I would just take out the 2 blocks. I would have the villagers standing on a trap door. So the villager couldn't get out and the zombie couldn't get in, but they could meet. And that's all it was needed, that little trap door. And then he would move on to the next villager. And when that was done, I'd replace the blocks and move them to the next, into a corner.
Mm-hmm.
And so these are all the different designs I come up with where I don't have to use redstone.
Yeah.
Because years ago, redstone mechanics almost changed with every version.
Mm-hmm.
You build something, you figure it out, and then the next thing you know, a new version comes out, a new patch comes out, and whatever you had built in the past no longer works. And I got frustrated with that. So my biggest one was the iron farm I just spoke of.
Yeah.
That actually will work from 1.14.3 to the foreseeable future, because they
Mm-hmm.
haven't changed the mechanics of zombies going after villagers.
Yeah.
That has never changed. It's the doors to beds that changed. That's why it's 1.14.3, and I'm going to keep testing that as long as that little hamster wheel works. I'm going to keep using it. But that's mainly what I started doing with my channel, was trying to find, besides the tutorials, if it involved redstone, I was going to try and find a way to do it without it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, not a lot of people are very good at redstone. Myself, I try to avoid it. A lot of the things that I do, like I make simple farms. Like I always make bamboo farm and sugarcane farm. Those are the two things that I always make.
Mm-hmm.
And that's usually about how much redstone I use. But I will be in the fairly near future, I'm going to be doing an iron farm, one that Novo actually designed.
Oh, the little small footprint one.
Yeah, the small one, because I
Mhm.
want to put it inside some ruined building at spawn, so it's always running.
There you go.
And I just thought that's perfect. If I have this tiny little iron farm, I can hide it so easily.
Well, there's always chunk loaders if you don't have it at spawn.
Yeah.
So if the
Well,
server allows the chunk loaders.
this is single player, so I don't have to worry about that.
Oh, gotcha.
So
And
what is?
go
Go
ahead.
ahead.
No, go ahead.
Okay. So I was going to ask, what is your typical recording and editing session like?
Recording for a normal tutorial that I do for like 2, 3, maybe 4 minutes max.
Mm-hmm.
It might take me, I don't know, half an hour, 45 minutes to get the video done because I usually preset everything up. So if you do include that time, it probably takes me longer to set everything up sometimes, depending on the tutorial. Because I don't want it to be a dull, drab-looking tutorial. I want to have some things looking. So if we add that in there, probably about an hour and 45 minutes, and then editing probably another hour and a half again.
Mm-hmm.
And then popping it up on YouTube. It really doesn't take that long. That's for your my more normal, shorter tutorials. The longer ones where I'm doing a build, they take a little bit more work.
Yeah, for my most recent ones, it's actually a very similar amount of time. 'Cause I've been doing a series of for villager trading,
Mm-hmm.
and I've been setting up all of the areas for each villager, and putting up item frames to show the different trades for each level, and using amethyst, just an amethyst bud, to show
Okay.
which are the valuable trades, the ones you absolutely want to have.
Oh, okay. So you're
And
using the small, medium, large buds.
yeah, it's just the medium one that I'm using for all of them. And any that are not valuable trades in my mind, I just don't put anything there for them.
Uh, I did the
But
same thing a while back, and I've got some good, decent views
mhm,
because villagers are my main thing. I love villagers. I don't use boats or mine carts to move them around.
yeah. Yeah, one thing that I want to do with villagers, I want, at least in my single player, my survival world, I don't want to have a villager trading hall. I don't want to have them
Mm-hmm.
all gathered in one place and making it easy so that everything is there for me. What I want to do is have a specific build for each villager so that they
Mm-hmm.
have their, like, make it like it's not like slavery and they're
Right,
stuck
right.
inside this thing. But I want them to have a building that they can walk around inside, and I can go in
Hmm.
and trade with them. But have something like, for example, if I've got well, a farmer is easy. Of course, you have farm fields all around, and you have a
Mm-hmm.
farmhouse. You go trade with the farmer, easy. You can go
Right.
harvest stuff and replant, and then trade with the farmer. And if it's like a Fletcher, have a hidden bamboo farm underneath.
Hmm.
And just go down, get the bamboo, make sticks, and trade with the Fletcher. And
Oh, there you go.
that's what I want to do. I just want to keep it so that things look good and are functional.
See, I have that currently on Adults Craft Season 4,
Mm-hmm.
a little pirate village. And I've put, like the librarians. I mean, you obviously can't let the librarians run around with name tags. You'll be spending all day trying to figure out who's got what. So what I've done is I've taken, like, if you were to divide them up, I have like sword enchants at one little. They have their own little work area,
Mm-hmm.
sleeping area, and then I have like your armor enchants. Those guys have their own little building. They walk around inside, outside, little patio. So I've got all that. If you want some inspiration, by all means, just swing on by and take a look and see what I've done. Heartsword was helping me to build a little pirate village.
Mm-hmm.
I've put in 3 ships so far. I've got a big one I'm getting ready to build, and I've got some smaller ones that are going to go in. It's coming along pretty good. I still have a few villagers to place. They don't have. I think there's one more building for 3 librarians, um, I have the blacksmiths, I think 2 of each, and they have their own little building, their own sleeping quarters. And I think I still have the Fletchers to do.
Mm-hmm.
The Masons and the Butcher, they have their own. It's like a little swampy area, which is pretty cool. And I've got a few others, but that's what we're doing is we're doing pretty much the same thing, giving them their own buildings and letting them be able to walk around
Yeah.
without too much confusion.
Yeah, I'll have to come take a look.
Yeah.
Yeah, so do you do any scripting, or do you just jump right into the videos?
I used to write stuff down, but I don't now because usually I want to do the tutorial if I understand about the tutorial. So I don't do any script writing or anything, but I'll pop in and I'll talk about it. If I don't like what I hear, I just delete it and start fresh and just keep going until I got it to where it's short, sweet, and to the point, and it makes sense, and I don't stutter too much.
Yeah. So
How
in
about you?
myself, yeah,
Mhm.
I don't. Well, I actually script the introduction and the outro, and that's it. Everything else,
Okay.
everything else in between, I record very short clips. I have what I want to say in my mind, but it's usually I don't write anything down. I know what I want to say, so I just
Right.
come right out
do
and
the-
say it.
I do the same thing.
But I do sometimes have to take 3 or 4 takes.
Oh, I do too. I'm right there with you.
And like I remember going back to just builds themselves. So in season 3 of Adults Craft, you were building from Wizard of Oz, the
Oh, right.
Emerald of that
Emerald City. I
huge
wish
Emerald
I could
City,
go
yeah.
back there. Oh, I still have in Lightmatica Emerald City, and I have the Witch's Castle,
Mhm.
but I didn't get one of the Mushroom Munchkin Land, and I'm kind of sad that I didn't get a chance to do that. I did that freehand, and I was asking Chaos to come over and take a look because I've
Mhm.
never done that. I didn't know how it would turn out, and she flew over and she says, "Oh, you're doing good," and off she went. But the mushrooms, the 2 giant mushrooms, actually came out good, and I didn't have Lightmatica or nothing like that going that I was using at the time. I'm just really surprised it turned out as well as it did. Those were the biggest builds I think I'd ever done, besides a river trident farm. But
Yeah,
anyway, I enjoyed those builds.
I think your base was one that I visited somewhat often because I just wanted to see what you were doing. That's
Oh, okay.
a lot of emerald blocks.
Oh my gosh, you have no idea. I had my hands full on
Yeah,
that.
just
But I had
huge.
16. What I had 16 farmers. They were all zombified just once to get the melons and pumpkins down to 1. And I spent a lot of time trading. Back when before they made the change, you could trade twice a day.
Hmm.
In the morning, you could trade when they started working at 8 o'clock. And about 10:30, the trades would open back up again. So you traded twice a day. And that was great. Now, in my opinion, I really don't like the fact that they added in supply and demand.
Yeah.
Because to me, that's greed, and we have enough greed in the real world. This is a game.
Hmm.
If you want to limit it to just 2 trades per day, I was happy with that. But for them to continue to go up on prices with supply and demand, I was pretty disappointed with that. Because now it takes even longer. So, in my opinion, when they first came out with that, I was thinking, okay, now I can only trade them once a day, unless I want the prices to go up. Then I'm going to have to double my villager, like my farmers when I was selling pumpkins and melons. I'd have to go with like not just 16, I have to go with 32. I might have to go with 64. Who knows how many if I was to do a build like that again. Otherwise, I'm looking at some pretty steep prices.
Yep. So my guess is you specialize in villagers.
I love villagers.
Yeah. It's an interesting thing to specialize in because a lot of people really don't like villagers.
Mhm.
Like for
That's why I
myself,
put a lot of
yeah,
that's why I put a lot of videos out on villagers to help people
yeah,
to deal with them.
yeah. I like villagers myself. I like having them around because it gives life to the area. But of course, Mojang has been working on a villager balancing
Mm-hmm.
and it's in experimental versions only right now. And
Right.
that is going to make it even more difficult to get certain trades because you have to go to specific biomes to get a specific enchanted book, for example.
Right. Now, my 2 cents on that initially was, oh boy, here we go, a lot more work. And then I thought, well, wait a minute, that just gives you a chance to travel around, build smaller villages for the trades that you want, no big deal. But then they came up with, oh, well, we're only going to have a max enchant of this and a max
Mm-hmm.
enchant of that. And I thought, oh, now you're just taking things away from the game. That just
Yeah.
totally, I don't like that part. But if they wanted to go forward with just having certain enchants at certain biomes, I would be willing to, set up little villages. That gives you something more to do. But as far as lowering the enchants, that would be a severe disappointment. The way I would think of things.
Yeah, you would have to basically stack those books. You have to combine
Exactly.
them, and it's just more
Yeah.
expensive.
If they got rid of the too expensive thing, then it could still be done. You just need some really good experience farms and to get it done. But if they leave that too expensive in there and they limit, like for example, if they said that you could only get sharpness 3 from a certain villager, I can't remember where you could get that from. But if they said only you can get sharpness 3 here, and you wanted to stack that to sharpness 5, eventually you're going to run into too expensive,
Yeah.
depending on how many enchants you put on the sword. Now, if they left that in there and they left the lower levels of enchants, I would not want to play anything that
Mm-hmm.
has that experimental feature.
Yeah. I'm hoping it stays experimental, really.
Me too. Me too.
Um, 'Cause there are a lot of people who don't want to have to spend all that time locating the specific villagers because there are people who want to have their villager trading halls,
Right.
and
Right.
they like for a person like me, I'm less of a survival player and more of a builder. So I like to have everything I need at least close by.
Right.
So what I like to do is what I'm going to be doing in my single player world is I'll be building a city soon,
Mm.
and I want to have all 13 villager jobs in the city. The library is
Mm-hmm.
probably going to have multiple librarians inside it, but
Right.
I want to have them all available in the city.
You still could. Now, they did not say that they had to stay in those biomes. So, if
Yeah.
for example, the jungle and the jungle villager and the swamp villager, you take villagers there, you get the trades you need. You can always bring them back to the city, so you'd still have them all. It's just a lot more work getting them to and from.
Yeah, the issue is I don't have a desert that's nearby, so I wouldn't be able to get the desert trades. And
Oh,
that is in this world I don't want to expand out too quickly because for each update I want to be able to go reasonably close by to get those new features. I don't want to
oh,
have to go.
so you are doing the experimental right now
Oh
as a
no.
test.
No, I'm not.
Oh, okay.
I'm not very interested in doing that. I haven't even dealt with the villagers in that world yet. Because I'm just building a small farming village at the moment. But once I'm done with that, I move on to the city, that
Okay.
and I guess the one thing I'm really looking forward to when I'm doing the city is when 1.21 comes, be able to make factories with the crafter, and I'm going to have an industrial port area where I'm going to have plenty of factories.
So, I've seen that, but I have not watched anything on it.
Hmm. I've
Uh,
played with it
so
a bit.
Yeah. See, when that comes out, I'm definitely going to be watching some videos on how it works, not
Hmm.
necessarily, how to do certain things, but how it works, the mechanics of it, to see if I'm willing to do it. I probably will, because when they came out with archaeology, when they talked about it, I thought, I'm not doing that. And now I do. So we'll see.
Well, on Brambles, I've got trail ruins inside the city that we're building,
Oh,
and
nice.
you're over in Whose group are you with?
I'm with the Rogue Nation, but
Right.
I'm actually like a Rogue Nation on my own because I don't have access to all the other Rogue stuff.
Mm-hmm. I
But
think you're. I think I remember there's an area. Are you like? Have you gone
I'm
far
west of
away
you.
from everyone? Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. 'Cause, I remember there's an area that's been claimed by you. So.
Yes, yes. I figured out how to do that, and I was on there a week or two ago, and I went in and tested the change that I made for the iron farm, and
Mm-hmm.
it's working great. I went in, I was doing a couple things, moving some, making some new buildings. I bounce around. I like having the option of having multiple different SMPs to play on.
Mm-hmm.
It gives you some variety.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm on two at the moment.
Mm.
So of
I'm
course.
on. I'm on, of course, the Brambles. It
Yeah.
initially was Adults Craft.
Yeah.
My son and I play on AdStar, which is a family-friendly server. That's the one we initially started on.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, from there, Adults Craft, and from Adults Craft, Brambles. And then I was invited into Alpha Craft with
Yeah.
Frilioth and Bunny Bon. And that was, I want to say, almost a year ago. And we've since added more people since then. There's also a test server that I mess around with called Applecraft,
Mm-hmm.
although I wouldn't suggest it for anybody that is sensitive to some of the chat that they have. So
Uh-huh.
I don't really do much with it, but test out things.
Yeah.
So I don't do any content at all on that server, but I've done content on AdStar, of course. My initial content was done from there when I
Mm-hmm.
first started my channel, and then the rest of it was either Adults Craft tutorials. I've done some on. I haven't done any content on Brambles, and I wasn't sure where my niche would be with something like that. There's so
Yeah.
many prominent streamers on there. I just didn't want to try and compete, so I'll pop into there and watch their stuff from time to time when they're doing things. But yeah, the main ones are going to be the ones I just mentioned, with the exception of Applecraft. I don't do a whole lot on that,
Mm-hmm.
but that's quite a bit to be able to choose from.
Yeah, so if anyone listening has no idea what we're talking about with Brambles, that is a supporter server for myself, Lena Hun, who's my sister, and Chaos Taz, and we're all in this together, building our own separate areas. And then there's the fourth group, which is Rogues, and it's not really a group; it's more of it's a very loose association, isn't it?
Very, very loose. And as a matter
Yeah.
of fact, I don't. I'm more of a hermit when it comes to
Mm-hmm.
that stuff. I have everything I need. I know how to get everything I need. I've popped over to the Rogue Nation to see what they have, and I can't get into any of the chests, so they never uh, added me into it. Even though we came up with design ideas for the Rogue Nation
Mm-hmm.
symbol, and I put it up there, and I put it on our Discord, and got a lot of likes on it. But I don't know if they've used it or not.
Mm-hmm.
But I have that on my above in my base in the air. So anybody swings by, oh, here's somebody from Rogue Nation.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting. Every group has their own thing. It's
Right.
it's Taz's area that I have visited the least. And I should probably pop over and see how things are going over there. Of course, I see Lena's area quite often because she's there streaming. And
She's been doing phenomenal when it comes to streaming. I
yes,
think a lot of the when she's rated other prominent streamers and put herself out there, she's really marketed herself very well.
yep, she has. And very consistent.
Yes, very.
And in my area, we're working on a city that is themed after early 20th century city. So we've got some really good builders, and the one who's built the most is WC Christ, who's also on.
Oh yes.
He's also on the same server as us in
Right.
Adultscraft. So
Exactly. Yeah.
we're in two servers, all three of us together.
Yeah. W. Chris had popped into a number of my different videos that I have on my YouTube channel.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, I always advertise Adults Craft and whoever else I was affiliated with at the time. And he popped into our Discord. I didn't know that if he had watched others as well, but it's nice to see him on board. And he's got a nice little area up there in the spruce
Yeah.
spruce biome.
He's a very good builder.
He is.
He's
He's very good.
just incredible what he's done on Brambles. Like he's built most of our industrial area, and it just looks amazing. If you ever get a chance,
pop in there.
yeah, just you can warp in and have a look around. It's there's a lot that's been built, but we have a large area to build up, and eventually we'd like to fill the whole area in. So it's
Nice.
a walkable city, or you can take a boat because there's a lot of bridges. There's a couple of rivers going through.
That's nice. I think I've seen some of those from your streams.
Yeah. Yeah, I've been working on, most recently was a pagoda. But,
yes, I saw something about that, yeah.
But I'm now starting to work on the road from the city to Spawn. So that's going to be a very, very long project.
Keep you busy.
Yep. Going to your YouTube channel, you mentioned some videos are doing pretty well. I took a look at the popular tab here. Splash Potion of Weakness, 594,000 views.
That's my best one.
Yep. It's actually, that video has 1,000 views more than my best.
Oh, it does?
Yep. My best is 593K, and that's my fletching table video, which is also it's my most popular but least liked video as well.
Oh, no. Well, you've also got a lot that has a high, a lot of views. You have a lot more that has a lot more views. So I think my most popular, of course, was Splash Potion Weakness. Next one was the bedrock mending. And then another mending video that I have, 594, 100K, 64K.
Yeah.
And it just goes down. I've got a couple that just recently come up on the horizon. Like you say, if they don't do well, and all of a sudden later on, YouTube starts pushing them.
Yeah, I've got some that suddenly became popular 2 years later.
Yeah. Yeah. My Infinite Lava one, that was done less than 2 years ago, and now it's starting to really pick up some steam.
17K?
I think, I'm pulling it up now. Yeah, 17K. So they're doing okay. And I think that's a short. I try and keep them short. It's 2 minutes and 36 seconds.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just interesting. I'm curious what's going to be happening with my villager trading videos. It's 14 videos in 14 days. And maybe a couple months down the road, I'm going to see a spike in views. So there's one series that did wonders for the views on my channel was my potions series. And while they're still doing fairly well, they're starting to they're getting overtaken by other videos. Some more recent videos, but also I find that, especially with Minecraft, since we have changes quite often, there are some things that are no longer really correct as far as tutorials go. The smithing table I've done 3 times.
Oh wow. That kind of happens when they come out with something new. And I know I've done it in the past myself, where it's something that and I've always put that disclaimer that things can change.
Yeah.
And things do change, and then you got to come out and make another one. Yeah, I was looking over my villager ones, because I know you're doing a villager series now. My most popular one was the cleric, 4.8 views. Not really that great, and then I've got some 1.4, 1.3. Those are some of the better ones.
Yeah, my number one.
Did okay.
Yeah, the one that's leading for me is the armorer, but it was the first one that I did, and it's got 800 something views.
Yeah, that's what I have. I have 866 views on my armor, but that was 2 years ago.
Yeah. Yeah. So now you said that initially your audience was kids that were playing on the server with you and your son.
Right.
But these days, like, how do you interact with your audience?
As far as,
Like comments, mostly.
oh, I always answer every single comment that
Mm-hmm.
somebody leaves. Usually it's usually a quick thanks or something like that. But if they have a question, I try and I go into detail if they're confused
Mm-hmm.
about something not working out. So I try and find an answer for them. Uh, I find that most YouTube people out there that make YouTube channels, especially when they get big, they just ignore, and you
Yeah.
rarely ever see anything. Or if something doesn't work out, you don't even see an explanation. Somebody else has to actually come in and explain. Or just, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's disappointing to see such little interaction with the larger channels. And I've had people comment, "Oh, when you get big, are you going to?" No, told them, I've gone back and said, I will still give the same effort I do with every single person that leaves a comment for me. I'll
Mm-hmm.
try and you find yourself leaving standardized responses.
Yeah.
And I don't use any of the shortcuts. I type all mine,
Mm-hmm.
but still, it's kind of hard to deviate from when someone says thanks. How many ways can you say, "Oh, I'm glad you watched it. Thank you."
Yep.
You can't. There's not too many
Thanks.
ways to say it. So
Thanks. Thank you very much. Thank you. Yeah. Um, yeah. It's hard to give any kind of variety to that kind of answer, but I find that sometimes, well, at the beginning of this year, I decided that I'm going to answer every single comment. And
good, good.
I did that for a couple of weeks, and then I just started getting behind and behind and behind, and then it's difficult to get all caught up. And I was
It
thinking
is.
that this weekend I have got to go in and try to answer as many comments as I can, and that's one of my goals right now. I just want to get caught up. I want to, even if it's a month later, I'm answering it.
Right, you have to. The Once you start falling behind, like my splash potion and weakness potion, I just did not let it fall behind.
Mm-hmm.
And I would just answer them right away. And a lot of by answering them on my phone, I find it a lot easier because it predicts what I've said. It's going to predict what I've already had in the past, what
Yeah.
makes it even faster. So that helps.
Yeah. Going away from Minecraft,
Hmm.
these days, do you play any other games?
No, no, I just stick with one game at a time.
Mm-hmm. And you mentioned you played World of Warcraft before
Right,
Minecraft. What
right.
else have you played?
I have played Cal Online. I've played Phoenix Dynasty. Cal Online was an older game, probably about almost 20 years ago when
Mm-hmm.
it came out. Uh, it's a Korean game. They had a number of people, but they took a look at people who spent a lot of time in the game, and I spent a lot of time in that game, and they were looking to do a pilot program in Korea.
Mm-hmm.
And so they brought, I think, 50 of us into the Korean server, and we're testing out a different type of script where we somehow, I can't, it's been a while, but we were able to go into the game. All we had to do was change something in the configuration code, and then everything would change over to English,
Mm-hmm.
so we could interact with people from Korea playing. And it was a huge game in Korea where I think it was Sunday morning, there was a war between guilds, and guilds would form alliances, and there was one area that would capture it. I was a healer.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I played that game for quite a number of years, and I was the last foreigner that was still playing, and they no longer provided the script, the changes. So I had to learn. I had little stickers for my computer keys for Korean, and
Mm-hmm.
I had phrases written out in a notebook, and I kept on playing for about another year and a half without any English
Hmm.
interpretation. It was still a lot of fun to play the game. And then from there, I moved on to a couple others. Nothing really notable until Phoenix Dynasty, where I played online with my wife, who played in the Philippines.
Yeah.
And then from there, we joined World of Warcraft, and I played World of Warcraft. I had 14 characters, all at max level. I spent a lot of time playing in
Wow.
that game, and there was a subscription fee you had to pay, but because I was able to get resources to sell in the auction house, they had this token you could buy that would extend your subscription. You didn't have to pay with cash.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a lot of other people that couldn't figure out how to get the resources they need. So they bought the tokens and would sell them on the auction house. I would buy those tokens and I'd keep playing for free, and did that for a couple of years. And then my son wanted help with Minecraft. And at that time, I made the transition to move into Minecraft. I found it so much fun. So,
Mm-hmm.
and that was probably, I want to say July of 2017. He started playing on AdStar earlier in that year of 2017, and then he asked me for some help with something. I thought, I'm just going to make another account or another character. Well,
Mm-hmm.
you have to have a separate account. So I decided, why not? It's cheap, $26.99. I'll do it.
Yeah.
So we started playing together, and he was so excited when he played for, I would say, 6 months, single player. And then when I found AdStar, family-friendly server, put him in there, you should have seen his eyes just glow. All the kids running around playing, and he was having fun.
Yeah.
And since then, he doesn't play with his dad, his old man, anymore. He moved on to PvP and parkour. We had that parkour challenge recently with the stream weekend.
Yes.
He ran that thing. He ran it in under 25 minutes or less. He did
Wow.
that whole thing. Yeah.
Really?
So I didn't know if TBG or Mist had some way of tracking people's progress. So I wanted to make sure that I took a picture and said, this is not me. I didn't,
Mm-hmm.
just in case you guys have a way of tracking that. This was my son. Please don't award me with anything. I'm going to do it myself. But, oh yeah, he beat Caitlin's by 6 or 7 minutes or something like that.
That's
And
crazy.
then, so I did it, and it took me 3 hours and 12 minutes. But in truth, it probably could have been a lot less, because I would stop and help different people along the way.
Mm-hmm.
I know me and Tundra were helping each other along to get through certain areas, trying to figure stuff out. Then I got too far ahead of her, and eventually I just started moving on. And 3 hours and 12 minutes later, geez, that tree. Have you gotten to the tree yet?
I'm still just over halfway. I actually went on last night to see what how far I could get in, say, half an hour, and I got to this one room with Prismarine, and you had to press a button and then jump.
Oh, yeah.
And there's this ding sound, and you have to go through this wall before the door closes. And
I know the exact room.
I was
slime blocks
so
you gotta bounce
frustrated with that thing.
Well, wait till you get to the redstone room.
Yeah.
Poor Mad was in there for an hour. Oh my goodness. I got through probably after the second or third attempt of the redstone room.
Yeah.
You gotta be quick.
Parkour, not my thing, but
Yeah.
I mean, it's fun to try occasionally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you
So
spent some time over in Asia or
yeah,
in Japan.
I was in Japan for 11 years. But actually, that's where I learned about Minecraft. I was living in Japan at the time, and when I looked at it, I thought, this is a very stupid-looking game.
That's what I thought too.
This looked better, it would be a great game to play. But because I just thought, it's an open-world, like fantasy role-playing type game, but it's a sandbox, not role-playing. But
Right.
and I just thought, this is amazing. This is exactly the kind of game that I've wanted to find, but it's blocks. I don't want to play Lego. But actually, there's a game coming out. So the company that made No Man's Sky, which is the other game that I play, I have a channel for that. And they're coming out with a game called Light No Fire. And that is exactly what I'm looking for. It is fantasy, open world. It's a single planet. It's an Earth-sized planet in the game. So everything is... so everyone who plays the game is on this world. And you can travel around, and if you happen to meet people, then great, you meet these people. But there's so much space that I don't think it'll ever be filled up. But there's a building system. You can fly dragons. There's a magic system and everything. And I just thought this is perfect. It's I absolutely have to play it, but we don't know
How
when
is
it.
the building of it? How's the building aspect? Because with Minecraft, you can build what you want, where you want, with what blocks you want.
Yeah,
I found a lot of other games where you get a pattern, you click on the pattern, and then a section of something pops up.
I think the building system is similar to what's in No Man's Sky right now, which you learn recipes about different components, and then you can put
Oh,
them
okay.
together in any way you want.
Oh,
And
okay.
I've seen some people build absolutely incredible bases. I've seen someone build a city, um, but you're limited to, I think it's like 5,000 parts for each save that you have, and that's spread across all of the bases that you've made.
Right.
And that could be on multiple planets and multiple galaxies.
Hmm.
So I'm not sure how they're going to be doing it for this, but it would be interesting if a group of people got together and built towns and cities, and that would
That would be
be
pretty nice.
really interesting to see.
Mm-hmm.
And now you mentioned, I mentioned at the beginning that you started off with Atari.
Right, right.
So
That
did
was my
I.
first game console. Yeah.
Yeah, mine was Atari 2600,
Mm-hmm.
and I think I played Pac-Man for so long that I could go for hours without dying. And um, I don't have the patience for that anymore. But back then, when I
Yeah.
was a kid, I could do that, no problem.
Right. Yeah, I played the game came with Pong and Tank, if I
Mm-hmm.
remember right.
Yeah, I had
And
Tank as well.
yeah, it was exciting. It was fun. You could play it on your own TV. It was pretty neat.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, played it on a black and white TV.
Yeah.
I wasn't allowed
Our
to put
first
it on the color TV. Had to be on the black and white one.
yeah, our first TV was black and white.
Yeah, it's interesting because we had two color TVs and two black and white TVs. The one that I played Atari on was I don't know how big it was. Maybe a 13 or 12-inch. It wasn't
Mm-hmm.
very big. And then we
I can't remember when we got our color TV, like 1970, maybe
hmm.
something like that.
But we also had this gigantic, those big wooden TVs.
Oh yeah, consoles.
Yeah, the console TV is just massive thing, very heavy, and
Oh yeah,
that was the main one we watched on. But we also when
vacuum tubes and
mhm. When we were eating dinner, we had this tiny little portable TV with I think a 6-inch screen that we would
oh
watch,
wow.
and I remember watching Three's Company on it at dinner.
I'll be
That's
darned.
back in the early '80s, and it was
Ours
that.
was this. I grew up in the '70s, so the we just had one TV that was in the
Mhm.
TV room, and my dad, whenever he come home, he was in charge of the TV, and we were his remote control.
Yep. Oh, we had a remote for one of the TVs.
Yeah,
Not
yeah, we
many,
were
not many buttons.
we only had we had UHF channel or U
UHF and VHF.
yeah we had UHF channels, which was the higher numbers, and we had maybe I don't know three to four other channels back then in the
Yeah,
early '70s.
yeah. I remember when we got cable, we had HBO.
Oh yeah, I remember when HBO was great when they first came out. It was movie after movie after movie.
Yep. Of course,
That was interesting.
now a lot of HBO. Well, at least for what I can see is it's called it was HBO Max. Now it's just Max. It's
Hmm.
online streaming. So
Yeah, I don't even watch TV. I
I
mean, I
don't.
watch a movie every now and then, but I don't watch TV.
I only watch TV for sports.
Hmm. I
So
don't even watch sports.
the only sport I watch is hockey. So
Hmm.
that's all I watch on TV these days. But going really into the depths of doing YouTube, for you, over the time that you've been making videos, what have you learned to make the process of making videos easier?
Getting things set up, of course, getting comfortable with the software that you're using.
Mm-hmm.
But with YouTube itself, you definitely want to go into the presets that you can have those set up to where everything's already there.
Yeah.
Usually when people start a YouTube channel and they put out a video, they got to type all that stuff in. And I would recommend anybody to go there to find those presets in there
Mm-hmm.
and fill out as much as you can. And then the only thing you really have to do is the description of the video itself. Everything else will fall into place and will always be there. So that's a lot less work you have to do.
Yeah.
Uh, and as far as editing, whatever editing software you use, just be comfortable with it. I haven't switched. I use Movavi.
Mm-hmm.
I've been using them for quite a while, since the beginning. I think I paid $34 for it, which was cheap. And I can't think of anything else other than to keep things short, other than to say what you need to say, get it out of the way, and if you make mistakes, go back, delete it. If you don't like the way it is, redo it over again.
Yeah.
And I do mine in short spurts. I try not to make it too long when I'm doing it. I don't like to speak straight through the whole tutorial. I'll do a little segment, check it out, make sure it's good, and then move on to the next segment. That way, if I make a mistake somewhere, I can easily delete that and start fresh in the next segment, if that makes sense.
Yeah. It does. I do pretty much the same thing.
Yeah.
And
Those
what do
are
you...
things you learn as you go.
Yeah. And what do you feel you need to improve, or what do you want to work on?
I always used to think redstone, but I like the challenge of not doing redstone.
Mm-hmm.
And as far as improving goes, I wouldn't know where to go because I wanted this to be fun. And if I really wanted it to be a job and put my mind to it, yeah, I could probably get out there, get on more social media sites, promote my channels more, spend more time visiting other people's channels, visiting other people's streams, doing streaming more. I don't want it to be a job. I just want it to be fun. That's why I haven't worried about my channel growth. But anybody that wants to do that has to realize that there is such a thing as burnout, and it can happen at any time, no matter how hard you push or how easy you go. You'll come to that plateau where you just burn out and don't want to do it. And if you, I think, in my personal opinion, if you are trying to put out videos and you're not accustomed to doing so many, or you don't have the shortcuts necessary to get them all done in timely fashion, that when you push yourself too hard by putting out 5-6 videos a week, you can only maintain that level for so long before burnout really comes up behind you and you're done. So I say consistency. I do one video a week. I mean, my channel would probably be pushed more on YouTube if I did more, because that's the way it seems. I tested this recently by taking some breaks and not putting videos out. And I found that my channel just dove. Like the number of subscribers I would get, and it's kind of like a punishment for not putting out enough content. That's the way YouTube, instead of finding something that, because there's really no way for their AI bots to say, well, this is thorough, this produces good material. Like I have used music in all my videos. I am short and sweet to the point now, as opposed to my older ones. But you'll find that other people that may have a crappy setup, or they just talk on and on, or they miss things, their videos seem to do better because they're putting out a lot of content throughout the week. So the AI and YouTube can't see all those things. I think in the future they probably will. And they'll probably look at, the AI will be so advanced that they'll have the time to say, well, before they decide to pick a video to really push, they can go through and say, for example, the crafting table, just as an easy one. They can look at the crafting table, know all about the crafting table, and within seconds they'll know who on YouTube has put out the best content, whether it's a different way of explaining it, but at least touches all the points necessary and is short. So for example, there might be thousands of videos out there, but the AI will say, well, these 10 here are probably the best because they explain it in a relatively easy way, and it's a short video and it comes right to the point. So but right now AI doesn't have that ability to go through each and every video to pull that out. So it's usually the bigger YouTubers that are gonna win out anyway.
Yeah, usually. And part of what you said there is one of the things that I like doing with this podcast is having a large variety of content creators. Like I've had so far a couple who are doing this full time, and a couple that are doing it as a hobby. So you get very different perspectives. Yeah.
Mine would definitely be a hobby.
Yeah, you're definitely doing it as a hobby. After this one, my next guest is full time, so it's going to be an interesting conversation because I don't want to spoil who is going to be the next guest, but he blew up in the last year, so
nice.
This is going to be an interesting conversation, definitely.
And the best I can say for anybody listening is consistency. If you think you can handle 2 a week or 3 a week, be consistent. So when the people come to your channel, they can see what, like for me on my channel, if somebody comes there, they'll see on my the header, it says that I put out videos every Saturday. So, and that's basically what the YouTube algorithm has suggested. I recently changed it. It used to be every Thursday morning, and I didn't care what they suggested. But now I thought, I can see with the new analytics that most of my viewers are on at 9 o'clock in the morning. That's the best time. Why not? I'll move it to there. It'll be a lot easier. Now that I'm getting close to retirement, I can do that.
Yeah.
Because before I was working 5 days a week, I was off on Wednesday, Thursdays. It was a lot easier to make the video on Wednesday and have it released on Thursday. So I have a whole day of Thursday of doing nothing. But before, I was doing streaming on Thursdays, videos on Wednesdays, and I thought, I'm burning myself out. I'm going to take a break from streaming. So, but a full-timer, God bless them if they can keep up with that pace.
Yeah, that's one thing that hurt me or hurt my channel in the last couple of years. I experienced burnout, specifically with building. I had no problems continuing on with the tutorials, so my tutorials continued as usual. But I took on a project in Adults Craft Season 2 that was far too big, and I burned myself out. And
I remember that big castle thing, right?
That big tower. It was supposed to be a futuristic tower, solar system themed.
Right. I remember that.
Yeah, and I never finished it. I said that I would just download the world and finish it in creative, but I never did. I did download the world.
That's burnout.
Yeah.
Hey, you look at it. I don't feel like doing it right now. No, I don't feel like doing it right
now. Yeah, I'm back to building, so I'm getting myself to the point where I'm not focusing on these massive projects anymore. I want to do smaller projects here and there, and I don't want to focus on just one world because I do know that I will get tired of it. So that's why I'm working on 3 different worlds for single player, and this is working for me because I can develop my ideas while I'm not working on it, and I know exactly what I want to do when I get to it. And
for me, it's 2. It's 2 SMPs, Adults Craft and Alpha Craft. I think I probably will go back and do probably something on AdStar again, just not right now. These are the 2 I concentrate on. So to keep burnout, I would suggest doing the same thing. Like you've got 3 different worlds you can go to. So if you get bored with one, you can go to another. Yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah,
and for Adults Craft, I reserve that for live streaming, and I'm building something. I guess it's a big project, but it's all small pieces that all go together. So I'm really only working on small projects here and there, and then on Brambles, this is something that I'm streaming from there too, but this is also a thing for me to just go on and play without even thinking about content. And I work on things. Relax. Yeah. And just play with other people. And that's it. That's my relaxation
away from
SMP, I guess.
Content creation, yeah. Well, not as much anyway.
Yeah. I mean,
I like the idea of not being pressured that you got to make a certain amount of content. So far in AlphaCraft, I probably put out 1 video a month on that and do tutorials, and then try and do one for Adults Craft too. And when somebody says you're not putting out enough content, well, it's probably not going to be for me, because I'm I'm in the slow lane right now,
Hmm.
and I want to do it for fun.
Yeah, and for me, this is actually part of my income, so it's
Yeah.
in a way it is my job now. It's my part-time job, but it's something that I love doing. I
Mm-hmm.
just find it a
Well,
lot
you've
of
done
fun.
well. You're right around the corner from 60,000 subscribers. I'd
Yeah,
say
I'm
you're
at
doing a really good job.
53.4K now.
Mm-hmm.
I would
I remember when we
love.
started out, you had just over 400 when we first started, because you and Rev found me, and that's
Mm,
how we joined up with Adults Craft. It was a small
yeah,
band to start.
when I s-
TG.
yeah when I started on Adults Craft, I was one of the absolute first.
Mm-hmm.
So I had 100 subscribers at the time,
Mm.
and I wasn't discovered, but I applied for it, and
Mm-hmm.
Rev was really happy that I applied for it because
Right.
apparently he was a fan of my videos. So he was like, I he told me that he hoped that I would join, and so I did,
Yeah.
with him not expecting me to apply, but I've been with it for the past 4.5 years.
Yeah, we've been since the beginning. I mean, you joined just before me, but you and Rev found me,
Hmm.
and that was probably I want to say August of that year. I
Yeah,
forgot
it's
what year that was. And they hadn't set up the Java side. It was the Bedrock side that was set up first.
yeah, yeah, it was
Java didn't
29.
open up till
Yeah, it was 2019. So
18. Yeah.
yeah, July is when the first server, Adults Play Minecraft, started. So
Oh yeah, I was there because I remember launching it, but I wasn't going to play Bedrock. I wanted to play Java, and
yeah,
didn't open up until I want to say October, maybe
hmm
September, October. Yeah.
it's funny because Bedrock was the most popular back then, but
Mm,
now the servers that we're playing on, most of the players are Java,
right, right.
and the Bedrock server is still open for new players.
I think if the Bedrock team had more devs, to me it just seems like when you for me when I'm looking at it metaphorically speaking, you look at them side by side, and you see a room full of people working on the Java side. You see one person working on the Bedrock side. That's how I see it in my head.
Hmm.
It just doesn't seem like they have. And the parity, they promised things like sweeping edge, and it's still not in the game. And there are some good things with Bedrock, especially when it comes to render distance.
Yeah,
And there's some other things, but as
amazing
far as
render
the feel,
distance.
yes, but as far as the feel of the game, it feels more fake, in my opinion.
They do have a
Uh,
different feeling because I've played on
they do.
both,
Same
and
here. I do tutorials on both.
yeah, and I prefer Java now.
Yeah, I do. I've always preferred Java.
Hmm. Yeah, originally I wanted to play Java, but my computer couldn't handle it, and
Yeah.
even Bedrock, my computer couldn't handle it very well because I was playing at 20 FPS.
Oh my. Yeah. Well, Bedrock has. It's less resource intensive for the computer.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. So, anyways, I think we should probably wrap it up about now. It
Sounds
was
good.
great having you as a guest.
Thank you for having me, JD.
Yeah, you're the first current Adults Craft member to be a guest. Probably have a couple more in the next few weeks, I think. There are some
Sounds good.
there are some that have expressed interest, so would love to have them as a guest.
Yeah, I listened to the podcast you had with Throwlash. I
Yeah.
remember playing with him in season 2.
Yep.
Great
Yeah.
builder.
Yeah. He was a member, and now he mentioned, and I'm sure anyone who's listened to uh, his interview, he found that he was more of a player.
Hmm.
Single player, yes. All right, so thank you very much for being my guest,
And thank
and
you again for having me, JD.
I'll see you on the server soon.
Sounds good.
All right, so everyone,
Take care.
Everyone, if you have any questions for any future guests, then please leave a comment and I will ask. And that is something I completely forgot to do. I didn't look in the comments, but that's fine. But we will see you next time.
Okay,
So,
sounds good. Take care.
bye-bye.